Promoting the growth of the tabletop sports hobby, this is Imagisport.
Hello there and welcome to a special edition of the Imagisport Showcase. Today is our first in a series of what I call great games from my past. And so today I am going to feature a game that was my first ever voyage into the sports sim hobby. I played this game as a young boy, spent many days in the summertime with my brother playing this game. And this game is All-Star Baseball from Cadaco. It is a game that is no longer in print, but it was pretty popular in the 60s and also throughout the 70s. And so All-Star Baseball, it's like I said, it's not made anymore, but the premise with All-Star Baseball was that the players that came out played in their respective leagues all-star games, and the player cards were represented with a disc like the one I'm holding here in my hand. And so basically you would get the results by putting the disc in a slot and spinning a spinner in order to get the results. Now, there have been many criticisms of this game over the years due to the fact that only batting statistics came into play for this game. There's no spinning for a pitcher's ability. There's no spinning for a specific running ability or any type of strategy ability. There are strategies built into the game, but the results are pretty much random. Again, the only results come from the batter disc, even for the pitchers. So, like I said, a lot of game players who might have started playing All-Star Baseball eventually did go to other games. I was no different. I've played other baseball games since then. But this game just kind of holds a space in my heart as being the first baseball game that I played. I thought I'd never see it again much after I left home, but my wife happened to snag a copy from eBay for me a few years ago for Christmas, and this is the first time that I'm actually breaking it out. So what you're seeing here today is my first game of All-Star Baseball that I've played in probably about 40 years. So we'll see if I remember the rules pretty much. It's just going to be a simple 7-inning exhibition game. I'm not going to worry about pinch hitters or relief pitchers or anything like that. The players that came with the game that my wife bought, I split them up basically into American League and National League, depending on which league the particular player played most of his career with. And I just selected a starting lineup, and that's how we're going to do it. So just stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and go to the game table for our 7-inning exhibition game so you can see how All-Star Baseball is played. Okay, so here is a look at the game box / board for All-Star Baseball. You can see there are 2 spinners, one for each team. There are some holes where you can put in these base runners whenever they get hits. And all the results are read. Like I said, when you get a result on the disc, you go to the batting key first, and then sometimes you have to go to the KO key, which is located here on the scoreboard portion of the game. So there's a results table for fly balls, for singles, and for ground balls, where you have to do an additional spin if you get one of those results. And there's also strategy involved as well. There are 2 different strategy charts, which if the situation occurs, we will see those in action as well today. But for right now, like I said, we're just about ready to start a 7-inning exhibition. And if you can't tell, the ballpark that is depicted here is Wrigley Field in Chicago. So it's going to be the National League being the home team. So the American League is going to bat first. And so the first batter up is shortstop Mark Belanger. And we're going to spin here, and that is going to be a 2. That's a ground ball 3. So we're going to spin a fielding die. It goes to an L, and so Belanger is out at first base for out number 1. Next up is first baseman Rod Carew, Hall of Famer, Twins and Angels, and that's a fly ball 1. And so we're going to spin the KO dial again, and this time we're going to come with an N, and that is going to be an out as well. So there are 2 gone here in the top of the first. Batting third for the American League is center fielder Fred Lynn. And so we are going to have a 13 there. That is a single 2, so he is going to be on, and he's going to be safe at first base with a single. All right, so 2 down here in the top of the first inning, and up next we are going to have Reggie Jackson. He's the right fielder, and he strikes out to end the top half of the first inning. So after 1/2 inning of play, the American League 0 and the National League coming to bat. And so they're going to lead off with third baseman Pete Rose. And so Rose has a 14 as a result. That is fly ball 1. And for that one, it is going to, he flies out. So 1 away. Batting second for the NL, Rose's teammate for many years in Cincinnati, second baseman Joe Morgan. And it's a 12. That's a ground ball 3. So that is a K, and that means that Morgan is safe at first on an error. Looks like we lost a base runner. I'll be right back. All right, so here we go. Morgan is safe at first, so the AL with an error. And they also have 1 hit. Next up the bat is right fielder, the Cobra, Dave Parker. But since Morgan was a pretty good base runner in his day, this might be a nice opportunity here to bring the strategy disc into play. So what we're going to do here is we're going to spin the strategy disc. And so for this one, you would use the single steal with a runner on first base. That's on the AE chart here. Now again, this does not reflect Joe Morgan's actual base stealing ability. This is just completely at random. So let's see if he is able to steal second base. And we go to B. And basically what that means is that the batter will ground out, but Morgan will go to second base. So Parker's retired. That is 2 gone. And next up for the National League is left fielder, the Bull, Greg Luzinski. And he is 9. That means that Luzinski will draw a walk, which will put men on first and second with 2 down here in the bottom of the first inning. And up next is catcher Johnny Bench. And Bench hits a ground ball 3. We'll see what happens here, and that is on the L, and that is going to be an out, and that is going to do it for the first inning. So 2 men left on here for the National League, but they do not get any runs. So after 1 full inning of play, we have no score. Up to the top of the second, and third baseman George Brett is coming to the plate. And that is a 9. He is going to draw a walk. So with Brett on first, he's going to stay there. Carlton Fisk, the catcher for the American League, is now your batter. And that is going to be a 1, and that's going to be a 2-run homer for Carlton Fisk. So Fisk takes one deep and gone. And the American League has themselves a 2-0 lead. So with nobody out here, Bobby Grich, the second baseman, will come up to the plate, and he hits a fly ball 1. And that is going to be, that is going to be a fly out. There is 1 away. Lou Piniella, the left fielder, is our next batter for the American League. And that's a 13. That is going to be a base hit. And that's going to point to L. So Piniella finds himself safe at first base. Already the third hit today for the American League. Now the starting pitcher for the American League, Catfish Hunter. And Hunter, that's a 2. That's a ground ball. And it goes to L. And so that is advanced one base if forced from the base. So what that's going to do is that's going to put Piniella at second base with 2 down. Back to the top of the order. And Mark Belanger. And a 12, there's a ground ball. And that's going to be out number 3. So, one man left on for the junior circuit in that inning. After 1.5, the AL is up 2-0. Steve Garvey, the first baseman, is going to lead things off for the National League, and he hits the fly ball. And that is going to be out number 1. Next up, center fielder Rick Monday. Not the favorite of players from Montreal Expos fans back in the day. He draws a walk. So the National League has their second base runner of the day. And that's going to bring up shortstop Gary Templeton. Templeton is going to wrap a single. And that's going to go to L. So that's just going to put Monday over to second base. So we have men on first and second with 1 out. And that's the first hit of the game for the National League. And that brings Tom Seaver. And it looks like I'm going to have to let him bat. Since there is 1 out, I don't necessarily want to bunt into a 2-out situation. And what do you know? Seaver draws a base on balls. And so we have bases loaded for the National League with 1 out. And Pete Rose coming to the plate. Let's see what he can do here. That's a 6. That is a ground ball 3. And so that is an L. So basically, he's going to ground it second to first. But that's going to bring in a run as Monday scores. And it's now a 2-1 ball game. So second and third with 2 gone. And there's Joe Morgan. And Morgan, and that looks like it's on the line, so we'll just spin it again. And he draws a walk. So once again, the bases are loaded for Dave Parker. Chomping at the bit here. Hunter delivers, and it's a base hit. At least one's going to score out of this. And actually, it's going to be 2 because the end means that you advance 2 bases on the single. So we're going to have runners at the corners. 2 runs come in, and now the National League has a 3-2 lead. Parker with 2 ribbies on that one. And here comes Greg Luzinski. So 2 gone here in the bottom of the second. And there's a fly ball. And a K, that's a safe at second base on error. So with that, Morgan is going to score. Parker is going to wind up at third. And Luzinski will go to second on the error. So another error for the American League, and the National League are now up 4-2. And here comes Johnny Bench. And Bench hits one out of here. That's a one. That's a home run. 3-run dinger for Johnny Bench. So Bench with the homer. 3 more runs come across the plate. And it is now a 7-2 lead for the National League. And the 7 runs on only 3 hits. Here's Garvey. And that's going to be a fly ball. And that's going to be an end, so that is going to be an out, and that does it for the second inning. After 2, NL up 7-2. And Rod Carew leading off the top of the third. And that is going to be just barely a base hit, and that is an O, so he's actually safe at second. So let's, yep, safe at second base. So the single is actually a double for Rod Carew. And the hits just keep on coming. What else do you expect from a team of all-stars? Here's Fred Lynn. And Lynn's going to hit a ground ball. And that's going to be an end, so out at first. And so Carew is going to go to third on it. 1 down. Here's Reggie Jackson. Jackson with it. That is a 5. That is a triple for Reggie. That's going to bring home Rod Carew. And the AL cuts the NL lead to 4. It is 7-3. 1 down. Here's Brett. George Brett hits a ground ball. And that looks like an L. Out at first. Runner does not advance. So there's 2 down. Here's Carlton Fisk. There's a ground ball. And an L, so that is the third out. So they leave a runner on there, but they score one. So as we head to the bottom of the third, the NL still leads 7-3. Here's Rick Monday. He walked his last time up. And he gets a base hit this time. So he'll be safe at first. 4th hit of the day for the senior circuit. And here is Gary Templeton. And that is a fly ball. And so that's an L, so he flies out. 1 down. Here's Tom Seaver, pitcher for the National League, and that is a 14. That is another fly ball. And another out. 2 down. Here's Pete Rose, 0 for 2. And there's a fly ball there. And that's the third out of the inning. So the National League gets blanked in that one, but they still lead 7-3 as we head to inning number 4 of this 7-inning exhibition. Bobby Grich leads it off for the junior circuit, and he strikes out. One away for Piniella. And Piniella will get a base hit. And so he is safe at first. Man on first, 1 out. And Catfish Hunter comes to the plate again. Hunter will bat. And that was a good call because he gets on the single chart. And with the N, that is a two-base advance for the runner. So back-to-back hits for the American League. And we have runners in the corners with one out and Mark Belanger coming up. He's 0 for 2 in the game. And he hits a fly ball. And that's an L, which means that the runner on third will score. So it is a sacrifice fly. And so the AL now makes it a 7-4 game. So with 2 down, here's Rod Carew. And Carew will hit a fly ball. And that will be out number 3. But they get one in the top of the 4th. So now 3 runs of difference. It's 7-4 National League. Bottom of the 4th. There's Joe Morgan. And he strikes out. One down. And up comes the Cobra. Parker is 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs, and he gets a double this time. So Parker on second. Here comes Luzinski. And Luzinski will hit a single. And that's going to be an N, so that's a 2-base advance. Parker will score, and it's now 8-3 National League. Still one away. Here is Johnny Bench. And Bench will strike out for out number 2. Next up, Steve Garvey. Most famous with the LA Dodgers. And he rips a single. And that is an O, which means he's safe at second, but the runner on first is out at third with second base unoccupied. So that is actually a fielder's choice. Third out of the inning as Luzinski is retired. So they will get credit with a hit, but then we move on to the top of the 5th, and the National League has an 8-4 lead over the American League. So here is Freddie Lynn. And Lynn strikes out for out number 1. There's Reggie. And Jackson will get a base hit. And he will be safe at first. One on, one out for George Brett. And that is an 8. That is a fly ball 1. And he will fly out. Everybody holds. 2 down. And here's Carlton Fisk. And Fisk will hit a ground ball. And that will be an out. And that side's retired. For the American League, they leave 1, but do not score. It's 8-4 National League, heading into the bottom of the 5th. Here's Rick Monday. And Monday will strike out. 1 away for Templeton. 1 for 2. And Templeton hits a ground ball, and that's an out. 2 down for Seaver. And remember, these are his batting statistics, not his pitching statistics. He hits a fly ball, and that's out number 3. So for the first time, a side will go down in order 1, 2, 3. We've played 5 here at Wrigley. National League 8, American League 4, heading into the 6th. Remember, this is just a 7-inning exhibition. Not really worrying about substitutes here. Bobby Grich is going to lead it off for the American League. He hits a fly ball, and that's going to be out number 1. And there's Lou Piniella. And Piniella will hit a grounder. And that is out number 2. And then Catfish Hunter. And Hunter, that's a 12. That's a ground ball. And that's the 3rd out. So, just like in the last half inning, the American League go down 1, 2, 3 in this half inning. So we head to the bottom of the 6th. NL up 8-4 over the American League. Pete Rose leads things off here in the bottom of the 6th, and that is just barely on the side of singles. So he's going to get his first hit of the day. So Rose is on first. No sense stealing here with a 4-run lead. There's Joe Morgan. And Morgan will hit a ground ball. And that is L. So that means that on the ground ball, Rose will advance to 2nd. But there's one away. Here's Dave Parker. And Parker will draw a walk, which will put men on 1st and 2nd. That's the 3rd time he's gotten on base today, along with his single and double in the running for MVP honors here. Here's Greg Luzinski. 2 on, 1 out, and there's a walk as well. So now we have bases loaded for Johnny Bench, and this could be the nail in the coffin right here if Bench could get a hold of one. 1 out, bottom of the 6th, 8-4 National League. And that is just on the side of 10. That is a big strikeout. The NL will get one more crack with Steve Garvey. And Garvey hits a single. We're going to get at least 1 run score here. And actually, we're going to get 2 because the end means that the runners advance 2 bases. So Garvey is going to get a single, which is going to bring home 2 runs. And the National League is now up 10-4 with 2 down in the bottom of the 6th. Here's Rick Monday. And that is a fly ball. And that is, to my eyes, just on the side of end, so that's going to be an out. All right, so last chance for the American League here in this 7-inning exhibition. But they need 6 runs to tie. But they're going to start at the top of the order with Mark Belanger. And there's a good start. Single 2. So he is going to be at first. 9th hit of the day for the American League. And here comes Rod Carew. Not really time for a strategy disc at this point. We need to bang in some runs. There's a fly ball by Carew. And everybody holds. 1 away. There's Fred Lynn. And Lynn will hit a ground ball. And that is going to go to O, which means out at first and runners out at second. So that's a double play to end the ball game. So that is going to do it. The National League wins this exhibition by the score of 10-4 over the American League. So let's go back to the studio for a quick wrap-up. So as you saw here, the National League wins rather convincingly in this exhibition, 10-4 over the American League. For the National League, 10 runs on 9 hits, no errors. For the American League, 4 runs on 9 hits with 2 errors. And as far as MVP goes, just kind of looking at my makeshift score sheet here, I think you're going to have to give it to Dave Parker. 2 for 3 with a walk, 2 runs batted in, scored a couple of times as well. Think he's a pretty good safe bet for most valuable player honors. Of course, Tom Seaver getting the win there and Catfish Hunter taking the loss. So again, that is All-Star Baseball. Once again, it's to my knowledge, this game is no longer being printed, although you can, there are some copies available for sale on eBay. Doing some quick Google searching before going on the air here. There was an official Facebook page for All-Star Baseball, but it doesn't look like there's been anything new posted on it in a couple years. I believe there's a website also that kind of ran hand in hand with that Facebook page. There is a private group for All-Star Baseball if you wanted to join that. And also, there is a website out there called All-Star Baseball Discs, which actually create current seasons in the All-Star Baseball format. And if memory serves me correctly, they also create NFL teams as well, too. So you can actually play NFL football with the All-Star Baseball game mechanic, as weird as that sounds. So I'll have the links for all of these in the description of this video if you want to explore checking this out for yourself. Once again, as you can see, it's a pretty simple game to play. Basically, you're just reading off the batter's discs, and every once in a while, for fly balls, singles, or for strategy, you're reading off the chart that stands up from the board. But like I said, it's still a fun game. I know there's been a lot of criticism about it. But like I said, it was one of the first sports games that I played when I was a young boy growing up, and I have nothing but fond memories of it. So there you go. That is All-Star Baseball. And so stay tuned to the showcase for more games that you might not have heard of that I have in my collection. But the next time that we're going to be on the air with the showcase, it's going to be a viewer's choice. I'm going to put up a poll here very soon where I'll put like 2 or 3 choices up there of some games I want to put on the channel, and you, the viewers, decide which would you rather see as the next Magisport telecast. So I hope to have that up in a few days after posting this video. So once again, your final score from Wrigley Field today in our exhibition, the National League defeat the American League by the score of 10-4 with All-Star Baseball. From all of us here at Magisport, this is Derek Jones saying thank you once again for watching the showcase. Have a great rest of your day, and most of all, keep on rolling. We will see you later.